Good morning, boys and girls. I'm happy to be here with you again on Monday, and I hope you're ready for another week of fun learning. We're on lesson 126 today. We're going to use this particular page here to show addition, subtraction, and multiplication on a number line. That's what our lesson is about today. We're going to start by listening to a short number sentence story. This is called a story problem. Joe walked 5 miles, took a rest, then walked 2 more miles. How far did Joe walk altogether? Well, you could probably notice that this is a sum and some more story problem, where we have some and then we add more. Let's use our number line to show the problem. Joe walked 5 miles. Well, where did Joe start? Joe started at 0, didn't he? And then he walked 5 miles. So we're going to draw what we call an arc. And then we're going to stop at the number 5 and draw a little arrow that shows where we left off. Now I'm going to change the color so you can see the next part of the story as a different color. Now it says in the problem, what did he do next? He rested and then he walked 2 more miles. So we're going to start from where our arrow left off, from where Joe left off, which is right here on the 5. Then we're going to go 1 mile more, 2 miles more. And you can see that he ends up here at 7 miles, right? So our number sentence for that problem would look like this. 5 plus 2 equals 7 miles. We could write 5 miles plus 2 miles equals 7 miles, but I don't have room to write that. So you can see how here are the first 5 miles, and here are the next 2 miles. Good. Now, we're going to use this same page, to do our next problem. And I'd like you to write this on your worksheet as well, on lesson 126A worksheet. If you already did that first problem on your worksheet, that's okay. Just skip this one and listen, because we're going to use number 2 next. We're doing number 1 right now. Ready? Our next problem says, Mickey read 3 books last week. This week he read 5 books. How many books did he read in 2 weeks? This is another example of a sum and some more story. We're going to use the first number line again to show what happened in the story. Where do we start on the number line? Right at 0. And what would we do first? Mickey read 3 books. So we will make an arc from 0 to 3. And then draw our little arrow showing where we stopped. What will we do next? Well, we read the next part of the problem. Then, Mickey read 5 books this week. So we're going to start at 3. I'm going to change my color here so you can see where we're starting. We're starting here at 3. And let's count those spaces to add our 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we draw our arc starting from where we left off all the way to the 5th space from the 3, which is at 8. Now what number sentence would we write? Well, we would write 3 books plus 5 books equals 8 books, right? And if you want to just write 3 plus 5 equals 8 books, that's fine. So you can see here are the first 3 books he read last week, and here are the 5 books he read this week. Great job. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 says, Mrs. Ritter gave Joan 2 papers, then she gave her 4 more papers. How many papers did she give Joan altogether? Well, this is another sum and some more story, and we're going to show what happened on the second number line. So we always start at 0 when we're showing a problem on a number line. So we can make a dot at the 0. Remember that she gave Joan, her teacher gave Joan 2 papers. So we make an arc to the number 2 and stop there with our arrow. Then we are going to see how many more papers she gave her. 4 more. So remember, we start here where we left off. So we can make a little dot where we left off. Then we count 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we make another arc that ends at 6. And our number sentence to show how many papers she gave her would be 2 plus 4 equals 6 papers. And you can write the word papers here too. P-A-P-E-R-S. And you can see that here are the first 2 papers and here are the next 4 papers. Okay, now let's do another type of problem for number 3. We'll use a different color. This is a new type of story. Listen, Joe had 7 cookies. He ate 3 cookies. How many cookies does he have left? Well, this is a some and then some went away story. So we're going to draw that differently on our number line. Now, we always start at 0 on our number line. So let's make a little dot at 0. Always start at 0. Now, it says Joe had 7 cookies. So let's make an arc all the way up to 7 and stop at 7 and draw our arrow. Now, what happened next? Well, Joe ate 3 cookies. Well, we always start where we left off. Start right here on the 7. If he ate 3, we're going to have to go backwards 3 on our number line, right? So we start there at the 7 where we left off and count backwards. 1, 2, 3. And then we draw an arc going backwards. There you go. So you can see how those types of problems look. Here are the 7 cookies he had, and here are the 3 cookies he ate. And our number sentence would say 7 cookies minus 3 cookies equals 4 cookies. And you can see how we ended our arc on the number 4 on the number line. You can spell cookies C-O-O-K-I-E-S. If I'm ever going too fast for you, just pause and you'll be fine. You can catch up. Hit the pause button. Okay, now we're going to read another story like that one. 8 children were on the bus. 6 children got off the bus. Now how many children are on the bus? That's another some went away story. We always start our number line stories to show them on the number line at 0. So draw a dot at 0. And it says 8 children were on the bus. Let's make our arc all the way up to the number 8 and stop there drawing our arrow. That's the 8 children on the bus. Now 6 children got off. Remember, we always start right where our arrow is, where we left off. We can make a dot there. If 6 children got off, we have to go backwards 6. Let's count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now remember, we make an arc starting from where we left off with our arrow, and we make an arc going backwards because that shows how many children got off. So here are the 8 children that are on the bus, and here are the 6 children that got off. Our number sentence would say 8 minus 6 equals 2 children. C-H-I-L-D-R-E-N. Great job. Now, one more like that, and then we're going to do a multiplication problem. This is another some went away problem. Let's just do the problem as I read it. Ready? Crystal had 5 pencils. So I start at 0, and I make my arc to 5 to show the 5 pencils Crystal had. She gave Mark 2 pencils. So we make a dot where we left off, and we count backwards 1, 2, because she gave away those 2 pencils, so some went away. So we have to count backwards. And we draw our arc, and we put an arrow there. So this shows the 5 pencils she had. This shows the 2 that she gave away. And our number sentence would say 5 minus 2 equals 3 pencils. And you can see that the arrow from our second arc landed on 3, and that's why we're saying there are 3 pencils left. Now let's do a multiplication problem. Now let's start on a fresh lesson worksheet number 126A for these multiplication problems. We're going to only do 3 of them, but you'll need a fresh worksheet. So if you don't have another one printed out, maybe you could pause this and go print it out, or you can just watch what we are doing now. Our first number sentence is going to be written not as a word problem or story problem, but just a number sentence. We're going to start with that. 2 times 4. We're showing 2 times 4 by always starting again at the 0 on our number line. And 2 times 4 means two groups of 4. 2 groups of 4. So we're going to show that on our number line. One group of 4 would go from 0 to 4, and then we draw our arc with an arrow on the 4. Another group of 4 would start from the arrow where we left off, and we're going to count 4 more spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to make our second arc a different color. Here's our second arc. This is our first group of 4. Here's our second group of 4. And we can see that our answer for 2 groups of 4 ends right here on 8. We know that 2 groups of 4 is 8. 4 plus 4 is 8. Good. Now let's do another one. Let's skip down so we have a little room. We'll go down to number 3 and use that. Let's do 3 times 3. Let's show that on our number line. Remember, we start at 0. We make a dot there. Remember, 3 groups of 3 is what 3 times 3 means. 3 groups of 3. So we're going to do one group of 3 with an arc from 0 to 3. Then we're going to count 3 more on our number line. 1, 2, 3. Our second arc, our second group of 3, count 1, 2, 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And our third group of 3. There's our first group of 3, our second group of 3, and our third group of 3. And you see where we landed, 9. So 3 times 3 equals 9. We know that. Now let's do our last one at the bottom of the page. Let's do 2 times 5. Remember, 2 times 5 means 2 groups of 5. 2 groups of 5. So we're going to start at 0, as we always do, make a dot on 0, and we're going to show our first group of 5 by drawing an arc from 0 to 5. Our second group of 5, let's do a different color. We'll start where 5 is, where our arrow is, and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on our number line, and then make our arc with our arrow. And we can see where we ended on the 10. This is our first group of 5. This is our second group of 5. So we see that our answer, 2 times 5, equals 10. This is how we show those number sentences for multiplication using a number line. And you're going to see these on your guided practice. And this is how we do it. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I enjoyed being with you. And I love you all very, very much and miss you so much. I hope you have a great, great day. Bye, boys and girls.